I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Oh my God, you have a cat.
Yeah, I have two
Hello.
cats.
I do too. I've closed mine out for this, but to be honest, now that I've seen yours, I'm like, I should have kept them in here.
You know what? They have mine on of their own, but this one over here somehow she shows up every time I'm on Zoom. So,
Oh, but she has a gorgeous view, to be fair. I mean, have a look at that. She's got a
oh, like,
great stuff to look at.
yeah, thank you. So hey, so congratulations. I've heard you just made a short film.
I
Anna?
did, yeah. First time I've done anything like that. It was kind of an unusual situation where I was really keen to make a particular story that I was really passionate about, quite close to my family. And yeah, it was interesting.
So let's start with that. Talk about this short film. What's it called? Satiety?
Satiety, yeah.
Satiety. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's a story about a young woman who her mother left her when she was younger. And she basically decides on her 21st birthday that she's going to find her again and hopefully reconnect with her. Unfortunately, it doesn't go that way. The mother is not exactly very keen. So it's kind of exploring how that can emotionally affect someone with a slightly dark end. But yeah. But I wanted to make that basically, it was something that I was really keen because it was so close to my heart. I really wanted to make something completely on my own. So as such, I had, except for my uncle who edited it and my father who scored it, literally, it was just me and my partner working on the script and the actual production of it. So it was really unusual, I guess, in that way, but so like important to me to make.
What sparked you to do this? Because you never done this before.
Yeah, I wanted to make this story. It's I won't go into it too much, but it's basically very closely based on my mother's story when to do with her mother. And I remember the first time I heard her story being so touched by not only her reaction to it and her resilience, but how much she'd grown from it, even though she was in a really difficult situation as a young woman, even as a kid, to be honest. So that kind of was a real inspiration to me in terms of making this story. And then obviously I had my own kind of baggage to add to that. So yeah, we kind of did it like that. But it was just such a moment of it was a different kind of moment of pride. I mean, I've worked on some stuff which I'm really, really, really proud of and so excited about. But this is a kind of different thing where it's like your own baby. You know what I mean? It's been really spectacular.
And you did the short film this year is
Yeah.
during the pandemic. Wow.
Yeah. I planned to start filming in March. And then obviously everything started happening. And I realized I can actually still do this if I make some adjustments to like locations and other cast members. And it actually ended up being kind of a really interesting take on the fact that no other person appears on screen during this entire thing, making it kind of terrifying in terms of the last moments of the script and the short film. So it did end up kind of working in my favor, but it was a weird time to do something like this. Yeah.
And I for a moment I thought you just wanted the challenge.
You know, honestly, you know, the acting industry isn't tough enough. I'm always looking for a challenge. That's a joke.
So when are we hoping to see something your short film? Hopefully film festivals 2021.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually asked a couple now, and we've got some amazing feedback. I was very lucky to win a couple things already, which I'm very pleased about. But I'm kind of thinking of rolling out more widespread towards early 2021, something like around March, April.
Well, you know what? Can't wait to check it out. So
Yeah.
what other projects are in the works for you right now?
Well, there's something that well, actually, there's three things that I can't talk about, so that's pretty useless.
Uh,
But I'm sure you're used to that. I'm sure it's just always like this. But yeah, I mean, three things that I'm really, really excited about. One in the, I actually don't know how much I can talk about this. One that's, let's say, screen related. and two that are video game related. I've been quite lucky during this lockdown because obviously production has been really tough for film and TV. I've been working on a lot more video games, which has been so much fun as a voice actor. And so yeah, that's another thing. But yeah.
Well, let's talk about your voice acting side because
Sure.
because I actually saw your resume and you do a lot of voice acting. In fact, you did a few voices in the latest video game of Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes. Yeah, that was incredible. I started on that like, I can't even remember. It was probably more than a year ago, but it was really funny. I remember the moment when I was speaking to Chris, who was the production manager, and we were in a room and I didn't know what it was. Even though I'd booked the job, I'd auditioned for it, I booked the job. I wasn't told, I was just given a code name. And he kind of comes up to me and goes, you know what it is, right? And I'm a massive video game fan. And I'm like, no, I've no idea. And he's like, it's Cyberpunk. And I'm like, what? And I remember that moment of just, I can't believe I'm in something as cool as that. So as much as there have been some controversies lately regarding the bugs and stuff, I know that the story is so incredible and the world is incredible and everyone who worked on it, I am so excited for in the next phase of this because it's going to be brilliant.
So when you get projects like this, where you're not talking about like getting like the obviously the main actor or like Keanu Reeves, but
Sure.
but you get all the other voices throughout the entire video game, right?
It depends. In the case of Cyberpunk, yes. In the case of other projects, it's usually like one role. But Cyberpunk was such a rich world that we ended up doing like, I don't know, a good handful of characters. And so I get to do a bunch of different voices. But yeah. And just by the way, it's not normal that you don't hear about what the project is when it comes to film and TV. It's just with video games, there's so much secrecy. You end up auditioning and working on stuff and then not knowing until it comes out. And you're like, oh. So yeah.
Didn't realize there's more secrecy in video games. I thought it was just you know, the
Wow.
screen stuff that we're used to.
No, it's unbelievable in video games. It's way more.
So then riddle me this because a lot of voice actors they don't play the video games, but you said you do.
Yes, I do. Definitely. It's one of the weird things where I remember the first job I had in a video game, I ended up getting the chance to play it because it was on an Oculus and I didn't have an Oculus. And I remember thinking this is really weird and slightly narcissistic to play a game opposite myself for the entire duration of it. But no, I love it. I love it. And actually, I would say, yeah, everything I've been in terms of video games, I have played and actually loved, which is pretty cool.
What for a person like yourself playing your own game? I mean, what goes through your mind? Do you is it more enjoyment because the fact that you're voicing these characters?
I think it's less because I'm obviously being critical, but in a way, it's really exciting because I have been privileged enough to know a little bit about the story before I go into it, and then to go into it. And, you know, obviously when I'm doing, for example, Final Fantasy, whenever I do like a bit of work for Gaia, the character Gaia, I'll get like little kind of, I don't know what it's called, like rendered animations just to get an idea of what's happening in the scene. And then I get to see it actually happen. And that adds to the whole enjoyment. It's kind of like knowing, kind of like watching a trailer before you watch a film. You get the idea and the excitement, but then you get to play it and you're like, God, this is so cool. So that's been really awesome.
Now, unlike animation, do voice acting in video games do they work similarly? Like, is it in a sound studio? You show up in pajamas with a glass of water and just your faces and voices for
Yeah.
hours. Is that how it works?
Yeah. The funny thing is, whether you're working on a film shoot, TV shoot, or video game project, you're going to show up looking like shit. But unlike with film and TV, you're also going to leave looking like shit. So yeah, you pretty much rock. I mean, at least I do. I rock up in like sweatpants and end up, depending on the length of the recording that day, I'll just drink tea or water, obviously, but just drink tea or water and just hang out basically and record the lines. It's pretty bliss. And I work with a really great project, really great company here in the UK quite a lot, and they're called Side, and I really like them, so they're great.
You know what? It's a talent to come up with many voices, so that's great for you.
Thank you.
Now on the acting side, because you had a few on-screen roles, what was your first project that you actually started with on screen?
Oh gosh, I would have been like 6 years old, and I worked on a project called Dr. Zhivago, and that's not the original one. It's the ITV in the UK. We have a network called ITV. They did a mini series based on the original book, and it was starring Keira Knightley and Hans Matheson, and it was an incredible little, like, you could basically call it an indie project. It was a tiny group of people who did this incredible miniseries, and that was kind of what made me realize, okay, this is exactly what I have to do. I don't really have a choice. This is amazing. I mean, you know, besides the fact that you get to hang out with wolves all day and eat as much chocolate as you want, like, there was an incredible, I don't know, it really ignited the spark of how much I love acting in that. So that was my first project. And then I did a couple more things, and then I didn't work again until I was 18.
Oh, and at 6, you actually knew what you were doing.
Well, what I was doing, maybe not, but I did know I wanted to do that for the rest of my life. And then we moved around so much with my dad. Due to his job. So I lived in countries where there wasn't really much of an English film industry. So I didn't really get to do anything until I moved back to the UK when I was an adult. But yeah.
So once you reach as an adult here, you wanted to become an actress that instant. You knew that was your calling.
I had known the whole time, but that was when I realized I had to take this really seriously. I mean, I was just 18, which was great. I'd just done a TV show. And I basically joined with a really great agent here in London, and it kind of just went from there. I mean, it's been really a massive privilege to be working on the kind of stuff that I've been working on.
Wow, that is terrific. So what was the first movie? But was it Ophelia? Was the first movie project?
Technically, I did a film called The Brothers Grimm when I was like 11.
Oh,
the first movie, yeah, I was a baby. But the first like film I had done since then, I think it was Ophelia. But that was, I think so. You're testing me, but I think so. But yeah, that was quite recent, and that was, oh no, it was Interlude in Prague. There was a project before that. But anyway, yes, Ophelia was great.
oh, it's been a while since I've seen that film. So
yeah, it was really, really cool. I mean, you've seen it, so you know. But it's one of those things where, again, technically quite a small budget for the amount of incredible actors that were in it, and they pulled it all together.
Oh, that was a small budget film. I couldn't tell.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now after a few films, you transitioned to television, from my understand, and you scored a big one with what, Amazon Prime's Carnival role.
Yeah, that was incredible. That was one of those bucket list ones. I remember the first time I got the email and they were like, so you got the job, can you do prosthetics on like Tuesday or something? And I remember thinking, oh my God, I get to do prosthetic work as well. Like, this is the coolest thing ever. And they took like this head cast of my upper body, which is where they basically cover you in plaster and you have to sit there, and then they make a mold of your upper body and they design the wings and the ears according to that. And it's just, oh, so yeah, I play a fairy, but yeah.
Yeah. I've seen the show, and you have quite memorable scene. But I mean, people who've seen it, they would actually remember what actually happened to you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But the project itself was absolutely incredible. I mean, the level of detail on every facet of that production is, I mean, I come prepared. Wanted to show you, these are the coins that they made for the currency of the world, which I don't think it ever shows up on camera. I don't think you ever see like a little insert or anything of any of the coins, but look at the level. I don't know if you can see it, but look at the level of detail.
Yeah.
On these on all of them. Like, it's just astonishing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are those plastic or metal?
No, they're metal.
Oh
They're
wow.
proper. Yeah, it's just
And
amazing. Yeah, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, and you took them off the set.
Yes, but I will have you know that although I probably would have taken them anyway, I did actually get permission to get these. But I kept my wings, which is the coolest thing ever. I have them in my cupboard, my actual fairy wings.
Oh no, sometimes it's always funny to talk to actors when they participate in movies and there just happen to be coins around. Like
Yeah.
for example, if you ever seen a movie called John Wick, because they always
Yes.
pass those coins, and I talked to a director one time, and he
Yeah.
said by the end of the production, all the coins mysteriously disappear.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's one of those things. I don't know a single actor who hasn't, like, secretly or with permission nicked like a prop or two from something, you know?
So was that the only props that you actually took off it, or did you manage to like keep like a wig or fairy wings and such?
Well, I definitely got the fairy wings because
Excellent.
mine, little bit of a spoiler alert, but I'm going to go for it because the show came out a year ago. My wings get shot off my back at the
Yeah.
end. So they kind of, the ones that we had, the prosthetics that were like the complete wings, are kind of useless. So I got to keep those, which is really cool. And I do have a couple of little knickknacks, little memorabilia over there. But yeah, for the
That's
most part.
that's excellent. Because in that television series, because you do play a fairy, do they actually have you do wire work, or you didn't have to do?
Yeah, they did. They had me do wire work for the early on flying, and I did rehearse my very last scene at the end of season one. But they ended up, it was kind of, I'm not going to lie, it was kind of rude, jokingly, but it was like, I had practiced that scene and they had me like rehearse it and everything. But then I got there to the day and they're like, oh, it's okay. We're going to let the stunt double do it. I was like, okay. So yes, they in principle do let you do wire work. But I think in the case of that last scene, they wanted someone more professional.
Well, you know what? It's a great experience, especially the fact that
Exactly.
you are on a show like that, and people are
Yeah,
anticipating on season two whenever
absolutely.
that comes around.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, with this whole production halted and everything going, well, the film and TV industry is not the same that it was before, so it's tricky. But yeah.
Excellent. Well, there was another TV project that you participated on, which it was a how can you say, it was very interesting, very lively with Legends, TNT Legends.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that was a little while ago, but we shot that here in East London. That was an incredible project. I I remember, God, I mean, it's been so long. Was there anything you wanted to ask specifically about it? Because I'm trying to remember like any details about it anymore. I just remember everyone on the project being so wonderful. And that's kind of what I've taken away from that rather than any details about the plot. What did I play again? But no, that was incredible.
You played a woman named Kava who was trying to
Yes.
how can you say, recruit a young
Hmm.
girl, Katie.
Yeah.
That's all I remember. All I know is that I don't think you met Sean Bean, or did you?
No, I mean, in person, I think so, briefly, but certainly not on in the context of the show, as in my character would definitely not have crossed over with his. No,
Oh,
no.
that's a shame.
I know, I know.
Wow. So for yourself, what basically motivates you? What kind of roles do you want to play in the near future?
You know, I actually get asked this quite a lot, and I have to say, just anything that's interesting and well written. I know that sounds like a cop out answer, but I know a lot of people who would choose always to work either, on only film or only television or something like that. But I think there's an incredible amount of really good work out there, really good writing, really good projects that I personally don't really mind what capacity I work in it, whether it's the lead or the supporting. I just want to be part of projects that make me excited to see them. Do you know what I mean? Or play them or whatever it is. I do have a soft spot for fantasy.
Oh.
In fact, there's a TV show called Wheel of Time, which is currently shooting, which I'm like, that is so cool. But I don't really have any preference other than that. It's just as long as it's a good, well-written story. And the character's actually interesting.
I like how you kind of slid in a there's one shooting
yeah.
right now.
Exactly.
When you said fantasy, I was going, well, there's another one called Lord of the Rings on the other side of the world that's also shooting right now.
That's very true. Gosh, that is going to be an incredible one, isn't it? I'm very excited to see about that. I think they're almost done, aren't they?
I think so. I think they started a few months ago during the pandemic. It's amazing how shooting actually happens during pandemics.
It really is. And the fact that they're resilient enough to be able to continue going is incredible. Admirable, in fact.
That's excellent. Well, let me wrap it up with one more thing, because we're talking via Zoom on opposite sides of the pond right now.
Yep.
And it's crazy time. But I want to know is, how are you staying sane and creative during times like this?
I don't know about you, but I personally feel like creativity is the only way I'm staying sane. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it goes hand in hand. When lockdown first hit, the very first thing I did, this is quite embarrassing, but I bought like 4 giant canvases and just started painting. And obviously being able to put effort into the work, into the short film that I did, that was really helpful. So anything that I can do, and also I've been writing more, it's just or working on video games or goodness knows what. But I think any way we can find ways to channel that anxiety or depression or loneliness that we're going through in our lives, especially during this time, if we can find a way to put it into art, I think it can result in some really great things. And if nothing else, it helps you get through it. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. That's terrific. Well, Anna, hey, congratulations on your short film. I look forward to how can you say, to see more projects and to hear your voices in these video games.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. That's really sweet.
Thank
you so much for taking the time as well.
Hey, not a problem. Bye now.
All right. Take care.
Bye.